It's very rampant. But to understand exactly how rampant it is, it may be necessary for us to understand first what exam malpractice is. And exam malpractice, by our own definition, is any act of omission or commission that compromises the validity of first admission, training, exam or assessment as we call it, certification, registration, and regulation of education. So it's not just restricted to sitting down in the hall and having exams. And when you define it in this broad concept, you begin to see that the situation may actually be described as, I don't want to use the word hopeless, but as rampant as you may think it could be. I don't think it can be worse. Well, first of all, I think that we should not just restrict discussion of exam malpractice to any level of education, like primary school and so on. Yes, at the primary school, it's a terrible thing because it forms the foundation for other levels of education, like secondary school, tertiary institution, technical, professional, in all those areas. But primary is the foundation. And when we talk about the new levels of malpractice or new forms of malpractice we have found out, the thing is just evolving on a daily basis, if I may say so. You have situations where malpractice is no longer the discretion of pupils or students. It has become an organized crime. It becomes a money-making thing. Do you understand? It becomes a syndicated affair, whereby the pupils and the students are now just instruments for making money. So I want you to look at it from that broad perspective. Then you now have a situation where schools organize malpractice for their pupils and students. Because many schools these days, especially, we used to say we used to see it as maybe something more rampant with private schools, but today no category of school is free of it. You find that schools, their unique selling position today is that if you come to my school, I give you 100% pass. You cannot fail. Whether it is common entrance, that involves elementary school, primary school people, or whether it is WAEC or NECO or whatever, you will get 100%. And in getting that 100%, a lot of things go into it. They arrange all sorts of scams. You must have heard about magic centers. You must have heard about hiring of machineries to come and write, going to moving, migrating from the town into areas that supervisors cannot come, and so on and so forth. And so, in that context, you now see the total involvement of people who should even defend education. The teachers, the head teachers, the principals, the proprietors, and so on and so forth. And then, very unfortunately, parents will come out to look for this. These are the things they look for. They look for this kind of schools where the children will be allowed to cheat. They look for a situation where the proprietors, the teachers, the principals, and so on will form themselves into a syndicate of crime. and parents pay money for it. They are willing to pay any amount. You even see parents who go as far as taking exams for their children. I'm sure you must have heard. I'm just trying to tell you some of the things we have seen. So these are basic issues. And so you find a situation where the whole system becomes almost something to cry about. You find a situation where even beyond the school, the parents, you find a connivance of people that are supposed to be supervisory and regulatory authorities. The government, the ministries of education, the regulatory agencies, the inspectors, the people who supervise WAEC and so on and so forth, you understand, are supposed to oversee these things, these exams. You understand? To know that the good things are happening. I mean that things are happening the way they're supposed to happen. But these are the very people who will also form part of the racket. We have found situations in our campaign where you have commissioners of education who own private schools. Commissioners of education who own private. In fact, it's not just it is now. There are a lot of states. If you do a little investigation, you will find those states. I won't say so that every person will think I'm running it, but it is open. It's an open secret. If you scratch the surface, if you key it into the internet, and even states where commissioners have been accused of promoting exam malpractice because they own schools, you will see it. So there is also the collapse of the regulatory system. You find a situation where some teaching does not take place. Teaching does not take place, but exams will take place. So what happens? How does it start? They are not taught, but the school or the teachers will make an arrangement for exams to be written for such pupils or such students, so that they will get a little bit of facelift. Then you come to the issue of certificates. There's a lot of forgery. Today, people can even decide not to go to school, but they present certificates. All these things amount to the corruption and the malpractice that we are talking about. Therefore, so if you ask me now, also in today's ICT world, one of the things people talk about and so on and so forth is the issue of what I would call e-malpractice. There are some sites in the internet that specialize in publishing questions and answers, and truly you find out that sometimes some of these sites are false, but sometimes they're also correct. When you compare the things they have published with the result and question papers and also, you find that they're right. So you ask yourself, how and where do they get this information? And so you now have a situation where taking exam becomes like a battlefront, with all the phones, with all the iPads, with all things, people WhatsApp and so on and so forth. But you see, like I said, it is because it's a systemic thing. That's why you could. Otherwise, some of these sites, because people are saying, how do we do? For me, it's a very simple matter. Some of these sites can easily be shut. Do you understand? Some of even like now, today, you hate speeches, Facebook, Google, and so on are primed to control, to monitor their platforms, to make sure that people don't use it to spread misinformation and create social havoc. Do you understand? So I do not see why some of these rogue malpractice sites could not be shut down by regulatory agencies in collaboration with some of the people that operate, that give these sites the space to operate. But I can tell you why. Because another fundamental issue why these things are like that is that, first of all, I believe that our government has not properly defined exam malpractice as part of corruption. Because you find that all these things that are happening, you can count. If you may not even be able to remember, but I know that there have been some cases, but are very far and in between. People that has been taken sanction, taken to court, and given imprisonment. So that is why you find that there is a lot of audacity. There's a lot of impunity. So it is, the exam malpractice has become a high level, high profit organized crime without risk. The risk level is so low. So every person is into it, so to say, because you now have a situation where if you cannot beat them, you join them. Federal government, state government as a whole, identify the exam malpractice as one of the most dangerous components of corruption. Because as far as I'm concerned, if you do not tackle the issue of exam malpractice, you can never eradicate corruption. If our government really want to fight corruption, they must go back and see what is happening in the education system. Because you see, corruption for me is not just about catching, getting billions of naira, people recovering it and so on, doing plea bargain and so on. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, the more the impunity with which the treasury is being looted, the more the level of corruption in the system is advertised, the more the amount of money people steal is advertised. It goes to fuel people at the lower level to say, well, if these things can happen, why can't I just sort myself out within my own sphere of operation and influence? And it goes to affect the people that run education, the principals and the teachers and so on that have not been paid. It goes to affect the people you will put in a laboratory to organize science exam without science equipment or reagents. You understand? Bringing what we call, see, because like I said, it's a systemic thing. It is in this country that we talk about alternative to practical exam. You understand? For us, a practical exam is a practical exam. If it is physics or chemistry or biology, it must be practicalized. The reagents and the lesson must be there. But if you now bring, because people have stolen the money to buy the reagents and the equipment, and you say you want to do biology practical, and you now because there is no, you want to, the thing has to do with maybe dissecting a cockroach or a frog or something, and because they are not there, you now give children a diagram of a cockroach and say, what is color of a cockroach? And they say a cockroach is brown or something. And they say they have passed biology practical. You see, that is exam malpractice. You understand what I'm saying? So you see, so it goes through. Like we are focusing on primary school, which I said it's not. You can't actually talk about exam malpractice in isolation of primary. These days, take for example again primary school. Many teachers, because of hunger and so on, do not teach. They are hungry. They are not being paid salary. They don't even go to class. The students go there, they play, they go home. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that is exam malpractice being perpetrated by the failure of government. In our campaign, we tell people in educational institutions, in our events, that anybody who is in the educational system and you are part of raising somebody who will eventually turn into a licensed assassin, you have questions to answer. Spiritually, you cannot be free. Whatever error, whatever fatality, whatever consequences come out of your product, whether you help the person at the primary school, at the secondary school, at tertiary institution, you are involved in the karmic consequences, because there is no vacuum in life. The universe has a balance. The positive must always equate the negative. What goes up must come down. So if whatever you give out, you must get. And I always tell them. And then you find a situation where some people will just say, things will happen, they say, why me, why me, why me? It is only you that can answer that why you. Do you understand? Because you can still see, it's funny. What happens to people in certain places at times is funny. So you are in your house, anywhere, and so on, and something will come and meet you in your house. I'm not saying the people have done anything or whatever, but I am saying that we in the education sector should be careful. The education sector is not a place to extort money. It's not a place to go and be rich. It's not a place to go and be rich. Because even the good book, our Bible says that our Bible has something to say about people who deceive children that are entrusted to them. We all know about that passage. But what is happening in our education sector is deceiving our children on an industrial scale in the bid to make money. So I will want a situation where the government, as part of its anti-corruption effort, will make a very, very special effort to look at what is happening in the education, to raise the level of orientation and reorientation, and then create. I have suggested so many initiatives, so many events, so many interventions, that for me the most important desk that we can have in our anti-corruption agencies is the exam malpractice desk. So today, take example our elections. You will find that in most of the time, presidential, governorship, senatorial, all these elections, to be able to ensure the integrity of education, and making an effort to ensure the integrity of, most of the returning officers are taken from education institutions, like professors. Is that not so? The reason is that, well, these are people we know that we can trust their level of integrity and so on and so forth. But with the kind of thing that's happening in education today, supposing some of those professors that are being caught hands down, that are being caught red-handed, collecting money, collecting sex, compromising themselves. Do you think that if such professors are made returning officers, do you think they can return what is fair? It is not possible. So that is why I say the whole thing, you see, because that is one of the best for me. That's the good decision. That's a good policy. Use people in the education sector as returning officers, professors, and so on and so forth. But with what is happening, what about getting some of these professors that are perpetrating malpractice for mundane things like sex, for mundane things like a few thousand naira, for mundane things like students launching their flats for them, for mundane things of students buying them tires and all those kind of things? Supposing you hand over to this man, the responsibility of adjudicating the integrity of an important election that has the consequences of life and death for the masses of this country. Election where the politicians are willing and ready to do anything. You cannot trust such a person if you fall into his hand. It's as bad as that. The government has not done well. Some of them, I can say, have not done enough, but some of them have not done anything at all. Some of them, in fact, are the causes of the malpractice. I gave you an example. I know in states, do you understand? I know in states where commissioners of education are owners of private schools that are virtually magic centers. In those schools, there is no inspector. There is no person. In some of them, even YXF are not allowed to. They cannot even get entrance into those places. I mean, the exam bodies and so on and so forth. Because the commissioner protects the school. Even before, you find out one particular case, even before the commissioner before the individual became a commissioner, he was running that school, and every person knew that school was the head of exam malpractice. You see, so you find that takes me back to the issue of appointing leaders for the education sector. Government, in appointing leaders for the education sector, must be careful not to politicize such appointments. It's very important. But by the time you put somebody in an education because he supported you in an election, he supported you to rig election and so on and so forth, and you said, what can I do? They say, look, just give me Minister of Education. That's all I have, so that I can go and recover some of my money. So that is one thing we should do. Those of us in government must try very hard not to politicize the appointments of education, and even not to politicize policies in education. A few years ago, we went to a particular agency in the course of this campaign to make a presentation on how we think the new man there will change things, how the new initiatives you can adopt and so on and so forth. The man looked at me and said, Ike, I said, I have to be frank with you. I don't want to waste your time. Before I got this position, I ran a campaign. And in running that campaign, I sold 3 houses. And I get this job. And the first thing you come to talk to me about ethics, talk to me about exam ethics, talk to me about this. I don't want to waste your time. You see, please, what you can do, you just give me 6 months on this desk, then come back with your proposals. You understand the point I'm making? So, you see, such a man interpreted his position to mean that he needs to recover. Yes, he needs to recover an investment. And that brings us to the issue of the cost of running these campaigns. So it is a whole lot of and it's going to take very, 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 very deep people. It's going to take a higher level of principle and discipline and integrity to clean up the issue of corruption in this country. Our president is trying at a personal level. He's showing example and so on and so forth. But you need to have a lot more massive involvement to create critical momentum. Do you understand what I'm saying? Especially in the education sector. I still come back there. Especially in the education sector. Because if you don't clean the foundation, if you don't make the foundation strong, what is happening in the building sector will continue to happen. You build the thing now, to set a level, the thing will collapse. And that is why it appears that no anti-corruption campaign in this country appear to have worked. From MAMSA to Y to all of them. Do you understand? After some time, they fizzle out. Because the foundation for fighting corruption has not been properly created. So we need to cleanse the educational sector before we're able to get a proper result, before we're able to make progress in the general fight against corruption.